What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Sir Kevin Says. Today is episode number 13 with AJ Rafael. AJ is a YouTuber, creative artist, and singer-songwriter. A little bit about AJ. He was born in Riverside, California. He has over 870,000 subscribers on YouTube and 400,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. AJ released his first album in 2011, Red Roses, debuting at number 5 on iTunes pop charts. AJ has traveled all around the world sharing his music, including Australia, Canada, and the Philippines. He's an advocate for the Asian American community and was recently named a Filipino American game changer by the city of LA. I met AJ a couple years ago at a Tori Kelly concert in Redlands, California. You'll see that much of today's conversation is about his YouTube career, as well as his artistry, the albums that he's put out, even a song that he wrote about Emma Watson, the actress, and also how he deals with positive and negative comments on his YouTube page and social medias. I think it's something important to talk about because of today's society where it's very easy now to reach any celebrity via social media. So it's important to see that they have feelings and emotions and frustrations as well. And you'll be able to see how he handles those emotions, how he responds, and how he's changed over the years. So I think you guys are going to enjoy it very much. Episode number 13 is on your way. Here you go. What's up, guys? Welcome to episode number 13 of Sir Kevin Says. Today I'm sitting down with AJ Rafael, artist, singer-songwriter, and creative. How you doing, AJ?
Good. Thanks for having me, bro.
Bro, thanks for doing this, man.
Yeah, man. It's fun. We're in Glendale right now. So, yeah, finally I'm in LA.
You're in LA?
I lived in the Inland Empire my whole life.
When did you make the move?
June of 2018.
2018.
Yeah.
Man, how's it like over here?
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. Like you guys who are in the IE as well, I'm not used to the busyness of LA.
Sure.
But Glendale is not that crazy. Everything kind of closes early and it doesn't get crazy like K-Town or Hollywood,
Yeah.
So yeah, I like it. I like it here.
What made you make the move?
A lot of personal things, but also like I'm turning 30 this year and I was just like, I need to do it and just make that move. I think a lot of people expected me to be here already, and when I've gotten people to come to Riverside to make videos and stuff or whatever, I've had to like bribe them with gas money or be like, I got dinner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, man, it's good to now be in the where everybody is.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
In the circle.
Yeah.
So yeah, man.
What's the story like for you, man? How did you get started with music? Was it something that you were doing since a very young age, or?
Yeah, it's kind of like a family thing.
Okay.
And my dad and mom were in choir. I grew up just going every Sunday to whatever church my dad was playing at. And he played at many different churches, different denominations and stuff, probably like 4 services every Sunday.
Wow.
And my mom, would be like a guest singer in all of those. And then we had our home church, which was in LA. Okay. So we lived in Moreno Valley, but we'd come out to LA every weekend.
Oh, man.
This is where all my dad's siblings live. And my mom, our home church was this Catholic church out here in LA called St. Columban. And my dad was the music director there.
Okay.
And my mom and all our relatives were singing in that choir too. So I just remember like growing up into like just choir environment, my dad had gotten me into piano lessons when I was very young, until I was like 5 or 6. And I just kind of got tired of classical music, maybe until I was 7. And my dad was in a pop band, like a cover band.
Okay.
They'd play weddings
top 40
and stuff.
and
Yeah, like a top 40
Mm-hmm.
back in the day. They'd play oldies and stuff too, but I noticed he'd be playing a lot of more pop music, and he'd have different sheet music than just church. It'd be a lot of pop music. He had Disney books and stuff. So I remember learning how to read from a fake book. I was like 8 or so, and there was this keyboard that my dad had. It was a Yamaha, and you know when you press like start and stop and the beat goes on.
Yeah.
But there's also the accompaniment. So then you're pressing the left hand, E flat or whatever it is,
Sure.
and then you're just doing, So I'm like making like remixes and stuff of Disney music. And like they had all the different genres like trance and then foxtrot, like random disco stuff. So that's kind of how I got my start playing the music I play now, which is more like pop rock based and R&B and stuff too. Just because of that Yamaha keyboard, because my dad, influenced me and inspired me to do that. And then he passed away when I was 10, and I took over for him at church, but only the church in Moreno Valley. So
are you still there today?
I still do every Sunday.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So you commute and
Yeah. Now that I live in LA, there are other people stepping up. There's this kid as well who reminds me of myself. He's like 12 or 13 now as well, and he's taking a lot of my Sundays now, which is good when I can't really make it out there. But the thing is, my mom. So when my dad was the music director and pianist, so my mom and me split his job. So my mom became the choir director with no experience doing it, and then I became the pianist. So my mom like has just her way of like kind of fake directing, not even in like the proper four, but she's just moving her hand still to this day, but like her people understand. And she runs the children's choir and adult choir, and then another service as well. But whenever I can make it, which is at least twice a month, I'm still at that same church. Yeah. So, and it's still the same people who raised me and stuff as well with church music.
Is it very family oriented there? Like,
I would say so.
Yeah.
Like in Filipinos in general, we'll call just older people like auntie or uncle or tito and tita, right? Same in a lot of other cultures, but they really do feel like family because they were all there. And they were in the choir when my dad passed away and stuff. Okay. So they're all watching after me, and my mom worked nights. So a lot of them would take turns taking care of us and stuff. Yeah. Music is very like attached to the events I had growing up, like with my dad and stuff and my mom, but it's just like the environment, it's just music all around.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And you've recorded 3 albums or
2 well,
albums?
Technically, I had an album when I was growing up. It was called AJ from Moreno Valley. And my mom bought me this $1,000 24-track rolling thing when I was young. I was 14. And I didn't even know how to use it. Honestly, I just knew how to like record each track and stuff. Like I didn't know how to punch in or whatever. My mom got me a drum set as well because I was so interested in the drums, and I already had piano, and my uncle bought me a guitar, and I recorded everything on my own. There's this band that I loved growing up called the Rocket Summer, and he played everything. So I was like, cool, I can do it as well. So I just lay down the drum track first without laying anything else because I didn't know how to hook up a metronome or a click or anything. So I made this whole CD. It was like 10 tracks. I burned the CDs at home. I eventually made enough money to buy like an industry burner that like even later on, Tori Kelly borrowed it from me for her EPs. Yeah. So like, it's been through a lot, but that's later, 2009. So this is in 2004, and I'm burning all these CDs. My friend, my best friend Arby, who you've met, he is helping me sell these CDs at school. For every 10 CDs, I'd buy him in and out. It was my fault that he became a big man. I'm just kidding. But yeah, it was crazy, man. We'd be hustling. We'd have fanny packs of cash.
That's crazy.
People were selling candies and stuff. We were selling CDs. And this is my MySpace days. So I had one song on my MySpace via real player HTML code because there was no player back then. And it was one song called How's San Diego Poly. And everyone at my school like knew that song, and we'd play backyard shows, and I'd be playing with, and that was the era of Warped Tour and like
Oh, man.
metal hardcore,
Yeah.
right? So I'm playing like melodic pop stuff with some people who would play with me as well. Andrew Garcia's band back in the day, he had a post-hardcore band called Ovid, and he would scream and stuff too and sing, but their stuff was really hardcore. And I'm opening for them, but I'm like kind of a melodic pop rock guy, you know?
Yeah.
So kind of just like bringing the emo into, but yeah, I was selling this CD, bro. It wasn't until 2011 where I actually produced my real first actual album, full length, printed 1,000 copies, distributed online.
Yeah.
Everywhere. Ended up in Target somehow.
Wow.
So that was my second album, but really my first.
Sure.
And then I have another EP called Beautiful Escape. That was in 2013.
Okay.
And then just singles from there on. I have not created like a product in a long time.
2011 was your first official one, like kind of to the world, you know, which is Red Roses, right?
Red Roses.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You know, I was talking to Devon about this on the way here, but you have a song called Emma Watson.
Yeah.
So what's that about?
It's about Emma Watson.
So like a love song to her?
Yeah, if you listen to that song, that's actually a different feel from the rest of the album, which is why I opened the album with that. I kind of wanted like that pop rock indie sound.
Sure.
You know, it's very rock, like dun 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 dun. But the lyrics are really about having a crush on like a celebrity crush.
Okay.
Mine happened to be Emma Watson.
Yeah.
When I did a music video for it where I just had people submit and sing to their idols and stuff. It was so cool because like they're using the song Emma Watson, but they're replacing it, you know, with like their own
That's cool.
people. Like, you know, some of them were mine. Some of them were some other people, like YouTube people, Jessica Sanchez, Joseph Vincent, things like that. So it became like this anthem for like the fanboy anthem, you know, but she's never heard it. I don't think. Who knows?
You've never met her.
I've never met her. We've tweeted thousands of tweets to her, if not 10,000 tweets over the years. And she's not even favorited one.
Is she active on social media?
No, but there was a time where she was, right? And we were like, this is the time. Everyone's like, dude, Emma's on Twitter, you know, send this stuff to her. But it's so funny, bro, because I remember watching, this is when Imagine Dragons just came out.
Oh, wow.
I don't know what year this was, but they go, this is a couple years after Red Roses. And she introduces them at the VMAs. And she's like, Imagine Dragons, such an amazing band. They also have a song called Emma, which is so cool.
Oh,
and I was like, what? I have a song with your actual full name. I hate you. It was trash.
That's hilarious, man.
But yeah, that's what that's about. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So how'd you get started with the YouTube stuff? So you've been doing it for a while now. I think since what, 2005 or 6 or a little bit before that? 2006.
Okay. Because I think the first YouTube video is 2005.
Okay, so how'd that get going for you?
2006, September 2006, September 10, 2006 or 12.
Wow. So
13
years.
13 years
already.
I was just trying to get the attention of this band that I loved called Megan Dia.
Okay.
Dia Frampton was on The Voice, and we're good friends now. But they were on Warped Tour at the time, and MySpace was big, and I had recorded this piano medley, and it is a video camera that my mom had, and I don't even say anything in the video. I just plop it next to my piano and
start playing.
I just play. My boxers are showing in that video. Like, you can't even really. There's no personable, but it was just the piano, and it's like a 10-minute medley maybe or 6 or something, and but it had all their songs of their album, and some old stuff because I was obsessed with their music, and they put me on their top 8 on MySpace, and they featured my video on their profile, and I was like, cool. Oh my gosh, this is cool. This is a cool way to express myself, YouTube, and not just make tracks. MySpace video was there at the time too. I think maybe YouTube was created in a way to compete with that. Who knows? But I had made like one video on MySpace video. The interface was not as friendly as YouTube. YouTube was so easy.
Yeah.
you just hit upload and then drag it.
Yeah.
And then I noticed after creating a couple videos that I had 1,000 subscribers, which I didn't know what a subscriber was. I thought people were paying, or I didn't know,
Yeah.
you know, and then I saw I had 1,000, but then I also saw people celebrating when they hit certain milestones. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. This could be a thing. So then after that, it starts becoming a thing where I am like talking to the camera, talking to the people who are viewing
Sure.
the thing.
Yeah.
And I see the same people watching over and over. So it becomes a community after a couple months, and not just, a thing for me to put videos on my MySpace,
Yeah.
you know? So yeah, that was the time of, we're just figuring it out. And I'm using the webcam from my laptop now to make videos.
Wow.
It's easier.
Yeah.
You know, iMovie's on there. Like Apple has made it so easy.
Yeah.
You know, and accessible, right? So I remember just learning everything myself, and that's how I started making this community, and then people started asking to collaborate and stuff, like let's do videos and stuff, and they'd come out to Riverside, and you know, like good memories of like just people coming over because I had the setup already.
Yeah.
You know, eventually bought like the flip cam. Remember those things? Things like that, man. Like we're just like all to put something on YouTube. And they were all like one takes. We weren't lip syncing back then yet, you know, or like pre-recording stuff.
Yeah. Post editing after.
Yeah. It was just editing on there. So yeah, man, it was amazing.
Was that during the time? So you started doing that. Did you see like your friends now, like Andrew and Tori, were they following in those footsteps? And like, were you the one that kind of introduced that idea?
I mean, in a way, like Tori, for example, was already doing her own thing. But me and Andrew grew up playing shows together, right? And, you know, I mean, we're mostly encouraging each other to do YouTube. But since I was growing faster a little bit on YouTube. So, you know, I'd get Andrew in on the collaborations. He had his own channel. He had his own songwriter group called the Adrian William Project. So he started releasing songs as well. And when he was on American Idol, he had met Tori.
Okay.
And he was like, this is after the season is over or before. Either way, he met her and was like, you need to meet this girl. And he got her to come to my house. And the first day that we met Tori, we made a video called, it was a Bruno Mars medley. And it's just me on the piano and them on the other side. And, you know, we did a couple takes, and there were a lot of people over that day. Like Victor Kim was randomly there. Like my friends were there. Ken Solomon was there.
Wow.
They're just watching. This is like, it was a cool time because we were making videos and people were just there sitting, watching, making us watch this, make this magic.
Like a live Snarky Puppy session.
Yeah, exactly. You know, but we didn't have all the different cameras. It's just one. And I remember her mom would come a lot with her at that time because she was 16. So we would make a lot of videos, and I think we were all encouraging each other, you know, in this thing, and people knew that there was something like organic and raw and special.
Definitely.
And I think a lot of people didn't know that Tori had already been introduced to like the mainstream music industry. She was signed when she was 12, you know, and like she was already doing all these things, but she was not on a label anymore. I think it was Geffen or something like that. And so she was just doing everything on her own. And I remember meeting her around the time that she was writing like her first songs. So yeah, I mean, you know, a big part of me is like, I helped put, you know, these people onto YouTube and that independent way of doing it, because I know that spirit came from like being with people who were jamming at my house and stuff. Yeah, you know. Yeah. This is also a little later, so this is 2010, and I'm already having some success to a degree on YouTube. I have a music video out that I did with this indie short film company, Wong Fu Productions, and we're already kind of doing it. There's a system kind of happening with me, and I'm just like doing it consistently, you know. So yeah, I think that vibe and everyone remembering that part where we were all jamming and stuff, it's still like special to everybody. And Tori had just done kind of a press tour for her album, and her mentioning those years is really cool because, you know, a lot of people know her from the mainstream now,
Right.
and what she does, but she mentions that time in her life as like her college.
Right.
You know,
she's done that a couple of times during interviews.
Yeah, you'll hear her say that. You know, it's like the like YouTube college, or like it's like the stomping grounds, Riverside. So yeah, something special came out of those years, man. Yeah,
because you were growing so fast, the attention that you were getting, was it mostly positive, or when you did get negative attention?
Yeah.
How did you deal with that?
Right. I know that's a big thing, I think. I don't read YouTube comments as much anymore, but that was a big thing.
Yeah.
And on Twitter. Also, like, my personality is not, I mean, people know me as a nice guy, but I get defensive, and I feed a lot off my emotions, you know, which is why maybe I write a lot of songs, right? Because like I just like heart on my sleeve type thing. So I react in the moment. And my close friends know me as that person. But on Twitter, I'd like respond back to the haters every single time almost back in the day, man. And I remember it came one time, I was a little salty that my friend hit the retweet button a lot or something. It was flooding the timeline or some stupid, very stupid thing. And I was like, I did something to call him out. And it was an artist friend of mine. And I remember someone was like, yo, I unfollowed you after that because that was kind of mean. You know what I mean? So I'll always remember that because it's like, it kind of called me out. And I was just like, well, I'm kind of acting like how I am in real life, which is like, you know, it's okay to somebody if you know them, but like online, that could affect your reputation. And it could cause people to, because once you get unfollowed, they could not know about anything you do ever for the rest of their lives, you know? And I took that to heart, and I was just like, okay, well, you know, I need to not put on a face, but like almost just be better about the things that bother me that don't matter.
Right.
So like for every like 10 positive comments, you'll get one negative comment, and you have to focus on the other 9.
That's good.
It's hard though.
That's good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that was my mentality after that.
Yeah.
That was early on, maybe 2014.
Oh, wow. Okay.
2013. That's kind of recent.
Not really, like 6 years ago now.
Yeah.
I'll
still like defend myself in a way.
Definitely.
You know, I think a lot of the negative, the comments and the trolley comments have to do with like either I'm Asian or not the best singer of the bunch. Like I collaborate with so many good people. You know what I mean? Like what I do know that I bring is like musicality and stuff.
Definitely.
And I can like, since growing up in choir, I can harmonize with people and, you know, do things like that.
Yeah.
But as far as like singers, and that it's tough too, because, and y'all know, you start comparing yourself. And if people see one video of me singing and then they see another video of me with somebody who's a singer, they're just going to think that I'm a singer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When like at my heart, it's like, I know I'm more than that. Like I'm a musician, and, you know, I play keys and all this stuff. Right. So those would be the comments that would get to me, because I know those things. It's just like, you know, when someone calls it out, it's like, I know they're not seeing the bigger picture in my defense anyways. Definitely. So, I mean, to an extent that still kind of gets to me sometimes, but, you know, as you get older, you start like realizing that you're given gifts, right, that make you unique.
Definitely.
And your gifts are your own. But you don't really realize that until you're older, until you're looking back. You know what I mean? So that's just something I've learned. I've had to deal with the negative comments and stuff. Is like, dude, I'm the only one who's going to be me, so it doesn't matter.
Definitely.
You know?
Yeah, that's good.
So that's how I deal with it now.
What are some of your current passions besides music?
All the passions I have to do fall under the umbrella of music. But like in 2014, I took a hiatus for a lot of different reasons. But because of that, I was more free, and I didn't do a lot of YouTube videos during that time, and I stopped writing music purposefully. I was presented the opportunity to music direct theater productions.
Okay.
And my first show I did was Young Frankenstein. And music directing for theater stuff is a little intimidating because you have all these people coming in there professionally and they're getting paid to do it. Well, it depends what company you're doing it for. But also it's music that is set. So it's different from church. Yeah. And like, I never even called what I did music directing at church. It was just like, let me make some harmonies and like, you know, do this thing. When I suddenly, there's a name to it and I'm being paid for doing this, is a little scary. But the theater world, which I love doing theater in high school as a performer, and I love musical theater in general. But actually having to teach, you know, within the music a certain way. Also, on top of being music director, being the pianist, the rehearsal pianist. So it just took me to a different world, man, like working with like a choreographer who needs to hear the exact things. And Young Frankenstein is a Mel Brooks musical, and it's like a parody on like classical musical theater. So a lot of that stuff was like pretty difficult. Mm-hmm. So I was learning how to sight read better. And I was doing like being an audition pianist for theater, which is also scary because if you mess up, you know, yeah. You just pretend like you didn't. Yeah. And then that
keep going.
You just have to keep going.
Yeah.
It sucks, man.
Yeah.
But like, and musical theater is very to the books. Like a lot of the stuff they bring in auditions don't have chords on them. You know what I mean? It's like straight up reading. So my reading had to become better. Yeah. And I was already a good, like a fairly decent sight reader. So yeah, it just made me a better musician in general, better pianist, doing theater stuff. Right. So I from 2014 to 2017, I music directed 5 shows and all theater stuff. And I was also in a production, Spring Awakening. So I was also, it was my first like professional show as an actor. So musical theater, I'd say, is a big passion. And I just got done doing a run of Tarzan, the musical.
Right. You played Turk, right?
Yeah, I played
How
Turk,
was that, man?
It was fun. I ended up fusing everything together, and I created my own Turk, which was cool. So yeah, that dude, it's another passion of mine. You know, being an actor, singer, it would be hard for me to do like a regular play, like just acting. Like I feel like I still had to have the song.
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
Have you done a play just with acting and no singing?
In like middle school. Okay. But I've not. Yeah, because the main thing is auditions is like, I know that my strength is singing, and like acting, still working on it. But if you went in for a straight play, that's what they call just plays, right? With no music. I'd have to do a monologue, and you know, like I don't really have any monologues, so it would be tough for me to do that. But I'm definitely interested in doing that for sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's funny, man.
Yeah, bro. It's been a journey, man. Musical theater, I think why I love it so much is because I love to tell stories. Like in my music, you know, they all come from real situations. Definitely. So I really try to, if my song, and I remember Kanye saying this one time, and he said that if my song is not telling a story the way that a country song or a theater song is telling, then I'm not telling the story good enough, you know? And like, as much as I love like pop music and like general music that you can relate to anybody, like I love writing specific things. And then people, at least my fans, like, you know, when they know it's about something specific, or if I mention something specific, kind of in the way that Taylor Swift writes very specific songs, people relate to that more because they're getting vivid imagery and then they can relate it to their life, you know? So yeah, storytelling, I think, in musical theater is why I was so attracted to it in the first place. Yeah.
So you've always been very intentional with everything you've done.
Right.
It seems like, you know, whenever you write a song, it's always about experiences that you've gone through in your life. Friends, family, you know, music stuff.
Yeah.
You're very intentional.
Yeah,
in that way.
Definitely. I think now And not just in music, I want to do everything intentionally. Like being in LA is so different because everybody is like trying to hang out, right? Which is cool. Like, of course, and everyone's wanting to do something. They're like, dude, let's do something. Let's do, you know, you meet anybody who doesn't even know your music. They maybe just heard that you had YouTube channel. Like, let's do something, you know? But now it's very like, sometimes I'd rather just hang out at home because that's where I want to put my energy.
Yeah.
And like, and when I lived in Riverside, like I'd have people over all the time and like, we're always creating stuff. And not that I don't want that anymore, but like being in LA, since there's such an opportunity to do with everybody, I like really pick and choose, and I'm very intentional about the energy I'm spending.
You just finished January.
Uh-huh.
So what's that about? You do it every year or?
Yeah, it started last year. I had an idea. My friend Matt was with me. We were doing a Christmas video, and I do a Christmas series every year.
Okay.
Ever since like the beginning of my YouTube channel. And Tori's a big part of that, you know, and a lot of other people have been a part of that. But in the last couple of years, it's been getting less videos. Like sometimes I do 10 and it ended up becoming like 5, or last year was 2, you know, and I was just like, F this, I need to like, consistency wins on YouTube, whether it's bad or good quality, right? Like content. Yeah. You see like crappy vloggers killing it all the time. Maybe even some musicians to an extent, but you know, it's all opinion based and relative. So who am I to say that this person is not good? But you see the people who are flushing it out. It's because they're being consistent. So 2 years ago, 2017, during Christmas time, I was creating a video with my friend Matt, and I was like, dude, I want to do a video every day. He was like, cool, I'm down. So he did most of those videos. But in January, January 1st, I feel like we filmed 1 video. January 2nd, we filmed like 2 videos. We'd catch up with ourselves on like January 5th, January 6th, and we're like, crap, we need to find a video for today. And I'm scheduling all these things, you know. It's a very stressful time in my life. I released 31 videos. And the rest of that year, I barely did like 6 or 7. This year, I was just like, let me just not stress myself out that much. I'll hire a team and, you know, pay them to edit, because I was editing everything and mixing stuff, and half sending stuff out to my friend in New York to mix. But this time I like was intentional about spending money to people who were professionals in that lane. Yeah. I think that's been a big thing about me in my career, is that like I wanted to take control of everything because I care that much about that content, or care too much. I care too much about it to let it go in the hands of anybody. I have barely sent out my videos to be edited. But this January taught me a lot about just like letting go. And I had almost every video edited by the people who did the videography. Okay. And that was new for me. Almost every video as well, the audio, I'd sent out the raw tracks and sent it to my friend in New York. And that was the first time, like, I mean, to an extent, like there's 2 things. It's like you having the means to do that, right? Like financially. Sure. It's like, okay, let me just, this is an investment in myself. Yeah. And then the second, it frees up so much more time. Yeah. And I was able to do Tarzan rehearsals without stressing. There was one time I'm in the theater uploading a video on my phone. I airdropped the because there's no Wi-Fi there. I airdropped the video to my phone, and I'm uploading it
while you're performing?
While I'm in a dress rehearsal. It was crazy. Hilarious. And I had to leave it where it didn't lock. Right? Oh. Because if I locked it, it would stop the upload. Yeah. So like I put my phone somewhere where no one would even know it was there in case, you know, funny, but I'm checking on it every time I'm off stage. Just checking the thing and if it would get uploaded on time.
How long was the video like itself?
This video was a long one. It was a Beyonce medley, and that was an 8-minute video, I think.
Oh man, that's a big file.
It's a big file, bro. Yeah. It was almost a gig. It was like 700 megabytes, and it took the whole run, like when we rehearsed Act 1 and Act 2. Yeah, it was crazy, bro. But it also I don't know, it kept me on my toes too,
Yeah.
you know? And I'm like, I care about my YouTube community. I want to be held accountable too.
Mhm.
And that's why I was like, I'm going to do every other day, which is a lot, not compared to every day last year, but
Yeah.
I see myself doing it every year to some extent. Cause I think people are like excited about that time.
Yeah.
They're like, yo, January's coming. I can't wait to see what he comes out with next, you
Yeah.
know? But also taking what I learned from there and like the efficiency and putting it into February, March, April, May.
Yeah.
I mean, why not? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like I should be taking that. So as much as I tell other people consistency wins and I'm giving them all these tips on YouTube, you know, sometimes I don't take it myself.
Yeah.
So January is a big time for me to be like, all right, this is, you know, I'm going to take the advice that I'm giving other people,
Right.
putting it to work.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
A couple months ago, I saw on Instagram, you posted a picture. You were holding an award of some, I think it was from the city.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What's that about?
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. I can't remember exactly what it was.
So it was a new award that was made up. Every award is made up, but by a board of people. And they called it the Filipino American Game Changer Award. And they just wanted to give it to people who have made an impact on the community and maybe possibly history.
Wow.
So I really I've always felt like a part of kind of the new movement because stereotype of Asian Americans in general is that we're quiet. We're always studying to be doctors, lawyers. We're a model minority, you know? And I think that it wasn't until YouTube and until when mainstream starts featuring Asian Americans that are not just part of the stereotype, like on TV and stuff.
Right.
But a big part of that was YouTube. And I think I'd like to think of myself as part of the movement where, you know, people have ukuleles around high school. They're singing my songs. They're singing J.R. Aquino, Jeremy Passion, Gabe Bondoc, these also Filipino artists, to especially dudes out there, guys, who would usually be shy or like they don't think that they are like the people to like be singing to a girl or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there was this stereotype. Like I saw a lot of tweets over the years, like Filipino F boy starter pack. You got an ukulele. You got like you're wearing a certain kind of shoes. You got like a Supreme bag, which I'm not part of the hype beast movement, but singing an AJ Rafael song. You know what I mean? Like that was the starter pack. When I started seeing tweets like that, and I started seeing retweets like, "Oh, you didn't grow up playing an AJ Rafael song to your girl to ask her to prom, and it shows." You know, like things like that. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm part of the culture because I just happened to be one of the first to do it.
Yeah.
To represent somebody who reflects me and someone who's like, oh, this guy's AJ's doing it and he's a Filipino guy and, you know, he has immigrant parents and like, I do too. Cool. Yeah. Like I look up to him.
Like a sense of empowerment.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
We didn't have that growing up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like our representation is our sidekicks, Dragon Ladies, Jackie Chan, Yellow Power Ranger. It's not like, it's insane that we didn't have a Filipino artist making it to mainstream until Bruno Mars, who does not, and I'm not mad at it. He's not like, hey guys, I'm Filipino.
Right.
You know what I mean? People have to find out that.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, okay, here's our representation, you know, and we've had very, very few throughout the years. Like Asian Americans only really have like their parents and then whatever you have on mainstream. Yeah. So for me, that award, I don't know, it's nice to have validation. Definitely. And it's like, hey man, you helped change the game. It was with other people, like there was a Filipino American artist who worked for Pixar, and he was one of the first. There's a radio host as well, PJ Butter, who was the first in the Bay Area, Filipino, one of the first, you know. So it was cool being up there with people like this who have kind of helped move the industry to show that they are a part of the first wave in hopes of more people doing what they do because they see somebody who represents them, right? So yeah, it's called the Film Game Changer Award, and it was from the city of LA. From
that's awesome, man.
That was cool, man.
That's very cool.
And that was the first time they gave that award.
Yeah.
So it's like a really cool like certificate and something I can, share with my kids and stuff. So
what do you think your greatest achievement is so far?
I it's hard to say anything tangible. If it was something tangible, it'd be Red Roses. I like to look at that as something that has affected a lot of people in good ways, and people who are like, that's the soundtrack of my middle school, my high school, and that's very cool to have.
Yeah.
And the fact that like people are still listening to it in the Philippines on Spotify and iTunes, like they're still my top audience, listening to that music. But as far as other things, I don't know. It just like making my family and friends proud. Like, when I see them at any of my things, any of my shows, like I'm like, oh, I'm the proudest I've ever been each and every time. Yeah. I think that truly is what it is for me. It's like I get so much fulfillment from seeing, especially my mom, who's worked so hard her whole life and she's still working. Like I wish I could make enough money so she could retire already, and she's been through so much, like my dad passing away and her first husband before my dad passed away. Like she's been through so much. Wow. And she was the only one who migrated to America from the Philippines. The rest of her siblings live in Australia. So she's like away from her family. So yeah, like my biggest achievement would be to continue to make her proud and stuff. Like, I don't know, I want to buy her like a car and then a house and then, these things. And that would be it.
Yeah.
I
think Latinos and Asians are very similar in that way,
for sure. You go to a Mexican party, it's the same feel, dude.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So much food, much noise, and then everyone like bugging you to eat. Yeah. You can't leave without
Exactly.
eating.
That's how it is at my house too.
Yeah, bro, for real. That's the culture, and the culture of wanting to take care of your parents. Mm-hmm. We don't get kicked out necessarily at 18.
Is it when you get married? Is that kind of
like my mom would.
Yeah.
My mom probably would even be like, if still live here with your wife. Like she probably would want to. She never wanted to kick me out, or and I was 20. Dude, I was 29 when I left home. That's crazy, right? Like, I mean, there were obviously other things. Like both of my sisters had moved out. Mm-hmm. My youngest sister moved out to college. Okay. And my mom finally told me she was getting married. And I was like, okay, cool. Yeah. The responsibility, and not that it was a burden, but I was like, cool, I'm going to do my own thing. But, I always have a home. If I am in Riverside, mom's always like, come home. And you know how it is, man. You know what I mean? It's just like that warm wanting to take care of their own, right? Yeah. Like you hardly see, and this is a cultural thing, but it's not like my plan is when my mom is older to put her in some kind of nursing home or something. You know what I mean? That's not part of our thing. I don't look down on anyone who does that, but it's like, that's not part of our culture.
Most definitely.
So there's something about that. And the Latino and Hispanic and Mexicans, they can definitely, when they come to a Filipino party, they're like, this is home.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
Who's been the most influential person in your life? And do you have anybody that keeps you accountable in any way?
To answer the second question, I have a couple of mentors. One is a business mentor, my friend Daniel Kim, who, is always trying to inspire me in different ways to monetize myself, which is hard for me because like even morally, like it's hard to ask people for money and stuff. And but the internet is a business, right. And I've been giving so much of myself away for free in the last decade. you know, like as far as live streams and like behind the scenes stuff, I've never looked at it as a way to like monetize, right? So he in a way has helped me figure that out, or at least to take steps. My friend Dante Bosco, who's an actor, has been helping a lot with just life in general. He's a Filipino American actor. He was Rufio in Hook, and I remember watching him when I was young, and I was like, oh, this Filipino dude in this Robin Williams movie, you know what I mean? And when we eventually became friends, like I know it was someone else who had gone through similar things, as far as like representation and stuff, and so he helps keep me accountable for just things in life. And I'm really very close with my mom as well, so her as well. As far as influential, and also like my fans keep me accountable too. You know, I put myself out there a lot, you know, like my personal stuff. So, you know, I don't really hide anything from my fans. So having that relationship, keeps me accountable. As far as most influential person, besides my dad, who, you know, I was telling you about, I'd say it's just like my peers, you know, like my band, people who I play music with. Those people have a lot of influence on me wanting to just be a better like musician. And person almost, you know. But like I look around and see these careers. Example, like Kina Granis, another independent YouTube artist. She was like a career that I was looking very closely at, even though we were friends, as like a career I want to model myself after. You know, she would like tour half the year and then write the next year and just keep writing, like releasing stuff. You know, I was like, damn, I really want to be that on the game. And she's very connected with her fans. But eventually, you know, in being influenced by these different people, you find your own way of doing things, you know? So this year and last year was kind of a big restart for me after the hiatus, and really just have to like, I don't know, be your own greatest influence. You know, I think that's really eventually what it comes down to. It's easy to take from like successful people's kind of strategy and things like that, but you have to make your own when you don't have, especially when you don't have like a record label or big money backing you up. I think that's my biggest, and I wouldn't want to call it a struggle, but like a biggest thing of mine. And when I influence other people who are in a similar boat, is like, dude, we don't really have that luxury of having all these people be on our team, you know? So I'm still finding that, and in what way I want to be influenced. This year, I haven't set my goals yet for this year. It's crazy.
You're a little behind, but
yeah, I know. You know, we're like February, March. No, but most of it has to do with that I'm turning 30, and I'm like, dude, I just want to enjoy life this year. You know, being in Tarzan made me want to do theater a lot. So I have a couple auditions coming up already. You know, and I respect people who do that hustle, because they're living off like just opportunities and people. And it's actually people's judgment, you know? It's crazy. But what I've learned growing up was to create my own opportunities, you know? And like, if someone's not going to accept me here, like I was rejected from every single reality show, from Idol to Voice or whatever. I'm like, F it, that's more of a reason. And God showing me that I need to continue to make my own videos, and like I'm making my own opportunities, you know? So during this time when I'm maybe jealous of people who are on The Voice and like, wow, they get this platform, I'm making my own platform, you know? So I'm used to that world. So when I'm getting into acting and stuff and doing theater, you're waiting on somebody to say yes for you. You know what I mean? So in a lot of ways, you know, I respect the people who do it a lot, because they get rejected a ton. And then they just keep hustling for the next opportunity, you know? It's almost a numbers game. So yeah, man.
You have any plans to get married?
Ooh. I get that question maybe 4 or 5 times a week.
I'm the 6th.
You're the 6th already, and it's only Tuesday. And I answer it the same way every time I say that I've gotten asked that question 4 to 5 times a week. Yeah, of course it's in the future, in the plans.
Yeah.
You know, I've never been I don't feel pressured, but like people see, maybe because they see that I am happy.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm happy that shows, and maybe that I've been posting more, you know, because me as a public persona, you know, like we control, everybody does, however big they are, however many followers they are, you put on a person, like you can control the perception of yourself.
Right.
Social media.
Yeah.
But you know, that I'm freely posting these very cute pictures with my girlfriend, you know, and they're like, when are you getting married and stuff? So I accept all that. I'm happy with it. It's all good. But yeah, of course I'm thinking about it. I'm almost 30 now. I keep bringing that up. It's a thing. Not that it matters. Is it? I mean, does it matter? You know, like time is a concept.
Yeah. It's very true.
You know, like someone made up that these things are called years.
Right.
You know, like what are the cycles, right? Yeah. That's a whole different podcast. We're like going really deep.
Hey man, it's all good. This is a general podcast.
Yeah,
so
bro.
Listening.
No, I'm with it, man. So yeah, it's in the plans, man. I'm thinking about it more and more. And, you know, I used to kind of be scared of it. You know, I was in other relationships before where like, you just kind of think you're going to stay young forever, you know, but you got to think of future. You know, one thing my girlfriend has brought onto me, and has projected into my being is being organized and structural. I've never been that person. I'm always like, let's just live life. Let's be spontaneous. You know, the reason I even moved out here was because I started becoming more of like someone who's thinking about the future and organized and structural, you know, because I would think about rent and stuff. And I'm like, you know, and we know as musicians, like we're living large and taking our friends out all the time for a couple months. And then if you got 2 months where you're like, I'm not going out.
Yeah. I'm on a sabbatical.
Yeah. You know, when you're not maybe getting as many gigs, I was scared of that, you know, but the more you plan out your future and stuff and you're like, and you're saving money and things like that, which I have not been used to, then it creates a better future for you.
What do you think is the current state of YouTube today?
I think it is, I don't know. I've gotten a lot of different things. A lot of people think it's dying, you know, because we've been getting less views and it's maybe harder to get like a video viral. But I think it's because there's so much content on there. Of course, like naturally, not everyone is going to be getting the same views, but also like YouTube on its own, the algorithm and the way that it operates, it cannot feature every single thing. Right. It has to literally be, you know, something that, I don't know, really resonates with pop culture at the time in a way. So like right now, I would not be using it as a way to get viral. Like I think a lot of people who are just getting started or even companies are like, let's find a way to make something viral or whatever, you know, like I still see it as like a way to have like a consistent platform to express yourself. Right. And like you're building your own resume of these videos, you know, like whether or not they have a lot of views or not, they're like on your channel. Yeah. You'll get to like, say you go into a job or something, you want to show somebody these videos that you're making, you know, you're going to show them the 5 videos that you're proud of and they're already there. Yeah. You know, so I see it just as an extension of what you're doing. And I think that YouTube will always be powerful in that sense because that's going to live forever on the website. Right. That will outlast you. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's up to you really on how you want to use it. Yeah. I think, you know, for a lot of brands and stuff and big companies, they're seeing YouTube is like billboard space now, you know, to everybody, and they're paying like influencers to use it. So it's also a way to still like make money and further your career. So yeah, it's hard to say though, because when I'm talking about those times that we were talking about earlier, it's like those are fun, organic times where you're not worrying about the views and stuff, and you're not worrying about any of that stuff.
What's the first video that was on YouTube? I can't even
on YouTube.
On YouTube, the very first.
I think it was like a cat video.
Right.
Video ever on YouTube. Oh no, yeah, it's some guy who was at the San Diego Zoo standing in front of a bunch of elephants. That's the first YouTube video, I think.
That's hilarious.
But some of the first viral videos, there's like this dude called, he was dancing. It's called The Evolution of Dance. He did like a bunch of different dance videos.
Oh, that's right.
remember?
He's in like a theater or something.
Yeah, it was a theater. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun fact, actually, that was part of this Asian American talent showcase called Collaboration with a K.
Wow.
And he was just one of the competitors. It was funny. He's a white guy, you know, like, but like it was specifically made so like Asian Americans could have a thing, and it still goes on to this day. And
That's cool.
Yeah, I've performed that a couple of times, but yeah, YouTube, bro, it's been a while, but also 14 years.
Yeah, about 14 years or so.
It's crazy, man. Yeah, but starting right after was because like MySpace was my first thing, and it became a habit. But I also, at the time was more into the internet than my other friends, and I would like want to create websites, and I was on other websites like Friendster. And
I remember that.
yeah.
High Five.
Yeah, exactly. Like LiveJournal and Blogspot and stuff. So I was always messing with like HTML to make my profile look cool. And then when MySpace came out, it was, you know, a community for everybody to do it. But YouTube YouTube changed my life, man. Yeah. You know, and like it allowed me to go anywhere in the world to play a show, and there would be some people there. Yeah. Who knew? Exactly. You know, who knew what I did because they saw a YouTube video. Yeah.
You've already answered this all throughout the podcast, but what would be your advice for individuals that are trying to get their careers going? Not just on YouTube, but in general, stuff that they, you know, want to do, but they're not motivated enough, or they don't have the people supporting them. What's your advice for them?
Yeah, man, I think, if someone as important as like your parents don't support you or whatever, like find the people who do. And I'm sure there are, you know, those like your best friends and stuff. Like if say I didn't have the support of my mom, like, you know, Arby, who helped me sell CDs, that kind of guy. And some other friends who would like take care of my little sister when I needed to play a show and mom was at work, you know, those people, you know, you got to rely heavily on like, and have them be real with you. Like, hey, is the stuff I'm doing, is it good? You know what I mean? Not just yes people, not people who are just, so surrounding yourself with, you know, the right people. When it comes to anything, not just music, social media, and, you know, there's 50% of the world who are like, nah, I don't do social media and stuff. You're just like blocking out the revolutionary thing that is the internet that has changed mankind, you know, ever since like the first thing that changed mankind since like the TV came out. You know what I mean? Like you're almost being ignorant, right? So like if you are using social media and the internet to further along your business, whatever it is, you want to keep reminding people, if you're an individual, like what you do. So like to put it in an example, like the first 9 scores of it, say an Instagram, you know, when you're scrolling, you want, at least in that first scroll, there to be something that reminds people of what it is you do. Whether it's like, for me specifically, it'd be like, let me put a video, even one of the YouTube videos I already made, in a minute clip and post it on there. Yeah. So anyone who's new to my page doesn't just see artsy photos or selfies or pictures with my girlfriend, right? Which is all cool. Yeah. But a lot of, I think artists especially, they get sucked into their Instagram wanting to look super clean and all this stuff. Yeah. When like you want somebody who's about to hire you for whatever it is you do, if you're an artist, if you're a fine artist or whatever, or photographer, not just selfies, you have something that is like, oh, here's a video of him playing piano. Damn, he's good. Yeah. You know what I mean? And they don't have to keep searching. Right. So that's what I'd say is like, even in the first 20 tweets the last 20 tweets that you have, you know, like you want your brand to be out there enough that people don't have to keep looking for it. That's like good. Search, right? Good. So I think that's a big thing. Consistency is what I've been saying, right? Because that's how bad quality content becomes popular, because they're being consistent and you're not, right? So that's one thing. you know, the community, whatever that is, if it's the people around you or if it's followers online, you know, you want to know one advice I got from my business mentor. He's like, you need to know in your head what your top fans look like. So like the top 3, who are they? And I was able to name like their usernames because they're always commenting on thing. What do they actually look like, or what do they like? You know, because now at this point, you are almost like friends with the people who are consistently looking at video or coming to your shows and stuff. Like, oh, if you're making a shirt or a merch, right? If I'm making a shirt, I'd be like, oh, so-and-so, which is my fan number 1 fan, would like this. Mm-hmm. So let me cater to that, you know?
That's cool.
So it's like, yeah. So like knowing your audience in whatever it is you do, and like, and upselling all that stuff, you know, and riding that wave. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like we're in an era where we can delete videos if we needed to. If you're selling something, you can mark it as sold out if you want, right? Like you can experiment and like be like, okay, they like this, and then ride the wave, you know? Like when I was in the Philippines, even though myself, I am Filipino, it's like, I'm not used to the culture over there really. And I wanted to go home so bad. And I'm just like, man, I want to go back to where my home is, right? Yeah. But like, at the same token, I'm killing it over there. I was like selling out concerts and stuff. Wow. So if someone's like, hey, stay an extra week, we'll get you. Yeah. So in that sense, I was like, all right, I'm riding the wave, even if I have some stuff going on at home. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know, you only live once, and like you gotta take advantage of the opportunity and seizing the moment. So those are just like life things. Definitely. But yeah, in general, keep in touch with your community, keep creating, collaborating, and being consistent, and then remind people who you are every once in a while. Even if you think that people keep seeing the same thing, dude, there are new people showing up every single day. Right. Yeah.
That's good. AJ, thank you so much for your time, man.
Dude, of course, man.
Appreciate it, bro.
Yeah.
Very, very much. Very good stuff. Everything you shared was on point and
dude,
very real and very raw.
Yeah, yeah.
Know? So
cool, you. Man. Looking forward to more podcasts. I'm 13. I'm number 13.
Yes, you're number 13.
Oh God.
We were trying to skip 13, but
it's unlucky, bro. They skipped the 13th floor in hotels. You know what I mean? Cool, man. Yeah, thank you, bro.
Thank you, AJ. This is episode number 13 with AJ Rafael.
Yes. Oh, we didn't do nothing to the camera.
Come on, man.
Hey, thanks for watching.
All right, guys. See you guys next time.
Subscribe.
Please do. Welcome back. Thank you guys for checking out episode number 13 with AJ Rafael. I invite you to subscribe down below if you have not already. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Also, remember that this podcast and the show itself is available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts as an audio version. So if you guys don't want to see the video, you can check out the audio in your car, going home from work, going to work, going to school, going home from school. You guys get it. Anyway, episode number 14 next week. See you guys.